I think we should treat the Barbie movie like the MCU and make men watch every Barbie animated movie first before seeing the live action one. Fucking bet.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Barbie. Mattel's signature franchise has been delighting and inspiring young girls for 64 years. Ever since her first appearance in 1959, she has become an icon, raking in over $5.4 billion and crossing over into several mediums: video games, books, apparel, and even movies. And with the highly anticipated release of Barbie 2023, I decided to spend the last 2 weeks watching and reviewing all the previous animated Barbie movies. Have I lost my mind? Probably. Would I recommend taking this challenge on? Absolutely not. Will you enjoy this video? God, I hope so. Hey guys, James MST Reviews here. I'm here with my girlfriend, Ann. How's it going?
Going pretty good.
Firstly, just for context, I am not a 12-year-old girl, so I did not grow up with any Barbie movies.
In your heart.
In my heart. I am a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. But did you grow up with any of these? Do you have any memories?
I grew up with a few of them, yeah. Most distinctively, for whatever reason, the Mariposa Barbie movie. It wasn't even that good, but for some reason, little me was obsessed with it. I would keep rewatching it all the time.
Yeah, I'm going into this completely cold. Just a few things I want to clear up before we get started. The continuity of this video is going to be all over the place because instead of recording it all in one section, I'm going to be like watching a movie, filming my review, watching a movie, filming my reaction, filming, and so on and so forth. So you're going to see a lot of jump cuts, you're going to see a lot of outfit changes, camera changes. Sometimes she'll be in it, sometimes she won't be, so I'll try to get you on for the ones that you've seen.
Of course.
And also, just one more quick disclaimer before we get started, because I got a lot of movies to watch. I know a couple other YouTubers have basically done this idea already. Liam Thompson and Caitlin McCullough. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Both of those YouTubers did this same idea and quite frankly probably did it better. I just had a very similar idea and I thought this would be a fun challenge to watch 42 movies in 2 weeks. So just wanted to clear that up. I'm not trying to encroach on anyone's videos or steal their ideas or whatever, but yeah, I think we've rambled on enough. Let's get started with Barbie in the Nutcracker.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Alright, sorry in advance if you hear any background noise, but we just finished Barbie in the Nutcracker. What do you think?
If I had a nickel for every time I've seen a kid's animated movie with a talking bat with a high-pitched voice, I would have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's odd that it's happened twice.
Wait, what was, out of curiosity, what was the second one?
Spooky the Square Pumpkin.
I don't know if you've shown me that one, but anyway, Barbie and the Nutcracker, it was cute. I mean, I haven't seen any version of the Nutcracker, I've only heard the music, so I can't speak to how accurate this is, but I mean, it was cute, it was a fun adventure, it had some decent music. The animation is what you'd expect from something like this. It's very cheap looking. It didn't help, I mean, we were watching a very low quality upload of this movie, but I don't think that would have helped. The 3D animation was still very dead-eyed looking. And it looked even worse on the children characters because their faces looked all sunken in.
Scale of like 1 to 10. Oh, on the scale of 1 to 5. Probably like a 3. That was alright. There were some funny moments. The story was cute.
Yeah, I'd probably give it a 3 too. I think a lot of the like laughs that we got was just like laughing at the the animation. There's a dance sequence at the end, and the whole time we were just watching their feet because they're just bending in impossible directions. Before we get to the next one, which will probably be tomorrow because we're pretty tired, but I did want to give a special shout out to Tim Curry being in this as the Mouse King because he is terrific in anything he does. So. Yeah, he was really great in this movie. He was really funny and entertaining, and hopefully this is not the last we see of him in these Barbie movies, because he elevates anything that he's in.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
See, I told you the continuity of this thing would be fucked up. So I just finished watching Barbie as Rapunzel. This was released in 2002. All I can say is Tangled did it better.
I love that. So this is now the second movie that starts with Barbie and this like little creepy faced girl who's like struggling with something. And in the Nutcracker, she was learning the moves to a dance, and now in this one she doesn't know what to paint. So Barbie tries to tell her the story of Rapunzel, and you know, she goes into extreme detail about these two warring kingdoms and this evil mother who trapped her there in the tower for all her life. And the one takeaway this little girl takes from the story is, I can paint whatever I want. I just thought that was funny. You're gonna hear me repeating a lot of things about each movie. The animation is still really creepy. We were laughing a lot at like the little horny weasel looking thing and the creepy faces and the prince's like dead-eyed generic expression. But one thing I will say that this movie has over Tangled is that Tangled would have been a shit ton better if Spyro the Dragon was in it, like this one is. Yeah, it was cute. 3 out of 5. Next movie.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Alright, third Barbie movie in the can, Barbie of Swan Lake. This is another ballet one. This is another like Fairytale one. It opens with the same framing device of like Barbie explaining something to help out her little sister or whatever, but of all the ways that it connects to the story, this is probably the weakest one, because she's like, oh, I'm too uncomfortable and too tired to race tomorrow. You guys should just race without me. You won't miss me anyway. And then she just looks up in the sky and says, hey, see how those stars look like a swan? What, do you want to hear a story about a girl who turned into a swan? And I mean, unless I missed something, it just seems like a story to like put her to sleep, which I mean is kind of fitting because the movie was kind of boring. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was just, of these first 3 movies, I think this is definitely one of the weaker ones. I mean, it was cool seeing Kelsey Grammer in it as the villain. He was nice. His friggin' daughter was super annoying. The animation is still very early 2000s animation, so it's very cheap and dead-eyed looking. The music was nice. It did go on a little bit too long. There was a lot of like really extended scenes of just dancing. But I mean, it's based off a ballet, so what do you expect? Not great, not amazing either. I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Princess and the Pauper is considered by many to be the best in the Barbie cinematic universe, and honestly, I can't argue with that because I really liked this movie, and not in like a funny, so bad it's good type of way. Like, I legitimately would like watch this movie again. It's the first like legit musical that any of these movies have done, and it's actually, the songs are all really solid and catchy and well written. It's honestly kind of like Disney caliber. I mean, it's definitely not like as high as that, but it's pretty damn close. You could tell like this wasn't just a toy commercial for the people working on this. They actually like cared about what they were doing. The songs are really nice. The story was engaging. The villain is absolutely entertaining. It wasn't just like them trying to like recapture the Tim Curry villain in like Nutcracker or anything. Like, he was his own sort of blend of just entertainment. The characters are all like interesting. Their goals are like defined. They don't make like one person's life more desirable than the other. And overall, it was just a really pleasant surprise. So like, yeah, if you watch any of these movies that I talk about, I would highly recommend checking out this one. I'd give it a 4 out of 5.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
And now I'm going to be throwing all the rules out the window, where I talk about 3 Barbie movies in one segment, starting off with Fairytopia. Right behind Princess and the Pauper, this one's probably my favorite. It just had a lot more funny moments. The animation, better. The characters are still a little like weird and dead-eyed, but I think they put a lot more effort into the backgrounds especially. It had a lot more funny moments. Bibble is my spirit animal. I just really found that character funny. And yeah, it was just full of imagination. It was a fun watch, and I'd probably give this one a 4 out of 5. Next up, Magic of Pegasus, which is a very weird title, but this one was also a funny watch. A lot of the comedy came from just the jokes that me and my girlfriend were making back and forth to each other. And just the weird implications of the story. They've had like 4 or 5 different versions of this same exact villain type in all the movies, and I feel like they've been trying to recapture the Tim Curry villain in Nutcracker, but they just have not been able to. But she gets forced into this marriage, and all of her, like, the people in her kingdom get frozen, and she has 3 days to set everything right. And then her sister comes across, her long-lost sister, who has been turned into a Pegasus, and they have to go on this grand adventure. And the whole time I'm thinking, Barbie rides her sister for an hour. But yeah, it was funny. It wasn't anything amazing. I'd probably give this, like, I don't know, 3 or 3.5. And then Barbie Fairytopia Mermaidia is the next one, which this one is the first of these type of movies that is like a direct follow-up from another movie. Like it even recaps what happened in the first Fairytopia. This one was just alright. It wasn't as good as the first one. It just wasn't as funny. It wasn't as interesting. Bibble was still great. I'm of the opinion that Bibble deserves his own spin-off movie. It was fine. It just wasn't as great as for the Fairytopia. So that one I'd probably give like a 2.5.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Barbie Diaries is the worst one of these. I'm not even kidding. Like, within like a minute of it being on, I already wanted to turn it off. It was so fucking obnoxious. It's a huge step away from the types of movies that we've seen so far, where it ditches the whole fantastical angle and the whole fairy tale aspect, and it takes Barbie into a high school comedy. It feels like a fucking Dan Schneider sitcom. It's all about, like, you know, Barbie is a vapid high schooler who wants to be popular, and she finds a magic bracelet and a diary that can give her whatever she wants, and, you know, she gets lost in her pursuit of popularity, and her friends ditch her, and blah blah blah, and fucking hell. Like, how many times have we seen this type of fucking story before? It's obnoxious. It's got all the cliches that you would expect from a movie like this. It feels like Bratz. It feels like Barbie trying to be Bratz. It feels like, you know what it feels like? It feels like a backdoor pilot for that fucking My Scene shit that Mattel made, like, and when it was basically trying to be Bratz but with the Barbie designs, and it tanked really hard. Like, it feels like that. And it was just so fucking obnoxious. This is the worst one. Even the animation has somehow taken a downgrade. Like, the character designs are all, like, even more dead-eyed, and they move, like, really weird, and it's just awful. I hated it. I don't know how they could possibly get worse from here. This is a 1 out of 5. Don't watch this.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Alright, now on to Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princesses, and after watching Diaries, it can only go uphill from here. This one was fine. It was cute. It had some nice music. The animation, it was alright. The villain was kind of lame. I will say, I was curious, because Kelly Sheridan, who voices Barbie in all of these, has voiced, like, multiple characters or multiple versions of Barbie. I did think it would have been funny if she had voiced all 12 of them, but she doesn't. She only voices Genevieve. But yeah, not too much to say. 3 out of 5. Miles better than Diaries, but yeah, whatever.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Alright, Fairytopia, the Magic of the Rainbow. This is the third in the ongoing Fairytopia saga. And this one's easily the weakest of the 3. I mean, Mermaidia was already pretty, like, lackluster, but it like, this one was just boring. It was, nothing interesting was happening. They recycled the same villain, which I was just honestly getting tired of seeing Laverna. Like, can we get if we're gonna do more of these, can we get a new villain, please? Once again, Bibble continues to be the best part of these movies. He even gets a little love interest
in this one, which is really cute. It's basically just the same story of Alina going to fairy school to become more powerful and OP and everything. And it was just really, really boring. Yeah, I'd probably give this a 2 out of 5.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Alright, just finished up Barbie as the Island Princess, and this one was pretty good. It's closer to the good scale that I've been at, like closer to Princess and the Pauper and Fairytopia. It's another musical. The songs were decent. I didn't think they were as good as Princess and the Pauper. The animation, again, on the backgrounds has stepped up a lot. And yeah, it was decent. It was enjoyable. 3.5 out of 5.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Alright, so I know you were looking forward to this one. We just watched Mariposa. This is, I guess, a Fairytopia spinoff. It takes place after the third one, and it's I forgot the girl's name. But it starts with her telling Bibble the story of Mariposa, who's a butterfly fairy who goes on a magical quest to get this antidote to save the queen, who's being poisoned by another butterfly fairy who's evil for some reason. Basically, it's the exact same plot of 12 Dancing Princesses, because that also had to deal with a character, a king being poisoned by a family member who wants to take over their position of power.
It's kind of similar to the first movie, the first fairy movie.
Yeah, that too. I know you grew up with this one, so does it hold up? Did you like it as much now as you did then?
Oh, absolutely. I don't know if it's just the nostalgia, but like, I love how scary the like, oh man, what are they called? The Shimo...
The scythes?
Scythes?
Or whatever.
Shites.
The big caterpillar fucking looking things that like eat butterfly fairies, and to your credit, I get why those can be scary for young kids.
Like, they're so ugly and grotesque looking, and they're funny.
And you get a lot of like really gross looking shots of them in close up, and their faces like flying towards the camera. Like I'm waiting for a jump scare of those.
Like, you actually kind of understand why the fairies are like terrified of them, because they're huge. They're like mammoths to the fairies. They're like massive.
Right.
And yeah, it does come. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? It does kind of take its plot away from like the first one and 12 Dancing Princesses, which I still haven't seen. But I do still think, like, I haven't seen the first of the... I haven't seen the 12 Dancing Princesses, and I barely remember the first of the fairy movies, but I actually like this one better than the first fairy movie. And I still thought that the first fairy movie was good.
I think this is better than Mermaidia and Magic of the Rainbow, but I don't know if it's better than the first Fairytopia. It felt very like all over the place. It was very like, I mean, granted, all of these types of movies are very fetch questy, where like you have to go here to get this thing, and then you have to go here to get this other thing, and then the true magic was inside you all along. But like, I don't know, it just like maybe after like 18 movies of this, it's like struggling to keep my attention, but like...
And I mean, it's a kid's movie. A lot of them are going to be similar like that.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. Like, even some of the other ones that had like similar plots did something to like keep me invested. Like, I was just kind of like half paying attention. Like, I wasn't really interested in what was going on. Like, the animation, like the fairy world is still pretty looking. I think it was better looking in the first movie. But I mean, other than that, I thought it was fine. Could have used more Bibble. When that opening credit sequence started, I'm like, ooh, is this the Bibble spin-off movie that we've been waiting for? But no, it's just for the opening framing device. But how would you rate the movie?
I feel like a 4.5 is too much, but I think a 4 is just right. I still disagree with you. I love the puzzles in this movie, like where Mariposa shows like her like crazy employers, I guess, like how smart she is, and like I love that she like learns how to open up more and like be herself, and you know, as you go along the way, it's not just like escaping the guys all the time. It's like learning how to like the mermaids, you have like the puzzles, like to I just like it. I don't know. It's very nostalgic for me.
No, I get that.
I feel like it was more adventurous than it is of the other movies. I feel like it gets very clever with it. And I love the story. I love the world building with like the lights and the queen being connected to it all. I grew up watching this movie all the time, as well as the other fairy movies. I don't know what it was about it. Little me just loved the Barbie with wings.
I mean, I wouldn't go that. I do agree that the world building is nice. It's nice to not be in the same area with the same characters and the same villain again. Again, like I said, the animation is nice. The voice acting for the most part is good. I don't know. I just didn't like this one as much as like the first Fairytopia, but I'm not calling it bad. I would still give it like a 3, either a 3 or like possibly a 3.5. But yeah.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Well, I mean, clearly this one is just false advertising. The Diamond Castle doesn't show up until like the last 20 minutes of the movie. I'm sorry in advance if this video turns out really boring, because I just find myself not really having much to say about a lot of these. Like, again, there are some pretty backgrounds in this. The music is fine. Again, it wasn't as good as Princess and Pauper. The two princes, the twins in this were really funny. Whenever they were in it, their introduction was really funny. But yeah, I mean, this is another 3, maybe a 3.5. It's nothing special, nothing amazing, but it was fine, it was fun, it was better than some of the other ones, but yeah.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Well, the continuity of this video is already fucked as is, so I might as well just date this video entirely and say Merry Christmas in July. Anyway, Barbie A Christmas Carol is next on the list, and it's fine. I mean, it's a Christmas Carol, so it's hard to really mess up. Couple of firsts. I mean, they're back to that whole framing device of Barbie telling a story to her younger sister. But for some reason, Barbie does not insert herself into the story, probably because the character that she's talking about is, self-obsessed and selfish and abusive to her coworkers, so she probably doesn't want that reputation on her. But I mean, it was cute. It was fun. The main girl was kind of annoying, but it was fine. The animation was pretty and sparkly and Christmassy. Like I said, it wasn't great, but it wasn't bad either. I'd probably say 3 out of 5.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Alright, so 3 more Barbie movies in the can for tonight. First off is Barbie Presents Thumbelina. This one was not great. It's not as bad as something like Diaries, but it was just kind of lame and kind of boring. It was essentially like Fairytopia mixed with the Lorax, mixed with B-movie, kind of. It is just all the stereotypical things you'd see from a movie like this. It wasn't like horrendous to sit through. I will say the animation has definitely picked up. These last 3 especially, the animation has gotten a lot better, especially in the characters. They look a lot more like fluid and less dead-eyed than they usually do. Other than that, it was just kind of I gave it like a 2 out of 5. Next up is Barbie and the Three Musketeers. This one was pretty good. It was pretty fun. Soundtrack kind of slapped. This was definitely one of the more action-packed Barbie movies. Tim Curry is in this again, and he elevates literally anything he touches. So you knew I was gonna like this one. And it has a nice moral of tackling the patriarchy with the whole women can be musketeers and blah blah blah. It was fun. It was cute. I gave it like a 3.5 out of 5. And then Barbie Fashion Faiytale, which is the one we just finished. This one was also cute. It got kind of meta in that it opened with Barbie actually like working on a movie set and like arguing with directors about how the story should go, and they even referenced some of the other movies from the past, which I thought was kind of funny. Other than that, it's what you'd expect. Barbie gets fired from a movie because she puts in too much input, and she believes that Ken broke up with her, so she goes on a getaway to Paris to be with her aunt, who was a fashion designer, but now she's like kind of lost the passion for it, and they have to like save the fashion studio in like 5 days or whatever. Meanwhile, Ken is trying to repair his relationship with Barbie, and the universe is actively working against him, which I found really, really funny. Yeah, it was nothing much to it other than that. It was fine, it was cute, it was harmless, the animation looked nice, the soundtrack was decent. I gave this like a 3 out of 5.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Mermaid's Tale 1 and 2. I decided to do these ones back to back. 1, because they both lead directly into each other, and 2, because I have about the same thoughts on both of them. They were fine, they were funny. The animation during the surf sequences in both of them were pretty awesome, actually. Soundtracks were good. Stories, I mean, it's about what you'd expect. It's kind of like similar type of story to Mermaidia, only in this one she already has mermaid powers. Yeah, other than that, it's your typical, like the first one, it's her, you know, gaining her power and helping stop the evil bad guy from taking over the kingdom. And then at the end, she gets the power to change from mermaid to human whenever she wants so that a sequel can happen. And then in the second one, she's battling it out against her surfer rival in this competition. And then the surfer rival gets tricked into releasing the villain from the last one. What is it with these like Barbie sequels and using the same villains? Like the Fairytopia ones use the same villain 3 fucking times. And this one can't you think of a new unique villain either, so whatever, I don't care. Yeah, they're both fine, they're both fun. I'd give them both like 3 out of 5.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
We just clocked in another 2 Barbie movies. First one was Barbie: A Fairy Secret. It pretty much is a direct sequel to Fashion Faiytale. It's the same actors, the same characters. It's got more to do with fairies. They even go to Paris and reference the events of the last movie. It was alright. It was fine. It was cute. It was 3 out of 5. Ken continues to be the best part. But other than that, it was like a 3 out of 5. What did you think of A Fairy Secret?
Yeah, I forget if I said it was better or worse than the last movie. I think I initially said it was a little bit worse and that the other one was better, but I think
I feel like Fashion Faiytale was a little funnier.
The side plot with Ken and the crazy love fairy was like what saved it with this one, honestly.
Yeah, and the homoerotic tension between Barbie and Raquel.
I think the first one was easier to follow. This one was more so like, hey, we're in Los Angeles now. We're going to a shop. We're going to practice flying with the wings. Whereas the last one was like, we have to get this done. I don't know. It felt more solid, I guess. But they're both about the same. I give it like a 3.
Yeah, that's understandable. And then we just finished the other one, Princess Charm School. This one sucked. It's still not as bad as like Thumbelina or Diaries, but you were so excited because you thought that this was going to be one of the good ones.
There was like a video review I watched where he said it was like one of the better ones out of the shitty ones that he was watching.
I mean, I didn't like.
I've seen clips from it too, and like there were funny moments, but pretty much the funny moments were in those clips. I
mean, the animation, like, is probably the only nice thing I can say about this one. This one, it was just really boring. It was very uneventful. Like, it didn't even have that many funny moments. It has, like, an ending that, like, it actually made me angry because, like, when, spoiler, she eventually becomes a princess,
and she gets to choose a lady royal, and at first you think, oh, it's going to be her adopted sister or one of her friends that she makes, but no, instead she chooses the bully character who, like, yeah, she has, like, a redemption arc, but she's been a complete bitch the entire movie, so that made absolutely no sense, and it just infuriated the crap out of me. But yeah, I mean, beyond that, it was just really bad and boring. I gave it, like, a 2 out of 5. What about you? What do you think?
You know, I would actually argue that I kind of like that she had a redemption arc. And I mean,
I don't mind the redemption arc. I just didn't understand the need to make her the Lady Royal.
well, the way I see it, she's got a little more experience. And plus, I don't think it really makes sense for her to choose her sister. Because this is a government position. This isn't just like a well, I guess in the world of Barbie, it's like
anyone can be there's a princess inside all of us.
She's underage. But I mean...
Well, I mean, she also signed her up for that. That's another thing, is, like, they have this, like, raffle on TV where, like, members of the public can get a free scholarship to this school. And like, her name gets read off because her little sister, like, signed her up without her knowing. And it gives the same vibe of, Harry, did you put your name in the goblet of fire? But it's like, okay, you're already kind of bending the rules because, like, this little girl can sign someone else up without permission. So, like, at that point, like, fuck it, why not?
Like, I do feel like the redemption arc was kind of botched because, like, it's like she changes her mind on, like, how she feels about... Her name is Blair, right?
Yeah.
She changes her mind on how she feels about Blair, like, just because she's a royal. But, like, you know, she was an asshole before just because she was poor. Like,
Right.
Nothing really happened for her to, like, change her mind, like, knowing that she was a peasant.
Like, at least with Raquel and the other ones, like, the character development and redemption arc was gradual and made some semblance of sense rather than just coming around out of nowhere. But yeah.
Yeah.
What would you give it out of 5?
I think I get 2.5. Needs more Ken.
Yeah, this one was sorely lacking a Ken, or even the Ken that we thought they were going to introduce only shows up for like 5 minutes. But yeah, 2 out of 5, 2.5. We'll see you in the next one.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Alright, so another Barbie movie in the can, another Christmas movie, a perfect Christmas at that. This is the second time that they've done a Christmas related special, and I might like this one a little bit more than A Christmas Carol. I don't know, there were things about both that I liked and disliked. I don't know, this one, it's not good, but it just hit me in all the right ways. It was just charming enough for me to be like, you know what, I could see this being a Christmas classic for a lot of people. The songs were decent, but nothing spectacular. It's your stereotypical, like, Barbie and family have the perfect Christmas plan, but oh no, they booked with Southwest, and so their flight gets delayed because of the snowstorm. And then they have to stay overnight at this log cabin, and then through Christmas magic, make the most out of their situation. It was cute, it was fun, like, the sibling bickering got a little annoying really fast, but, I mean, it was fine. I thought it was cute. Maybe I'm just a softie like that, but I thought it was alright. I'd probably give it about what I gave Christmas Carol, which is a 3 out of 5. It might be bumped up to a 3.5 upon another watch.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
I want to die. I am so fucking exhausted. I've been burnt out on these fucking movies for the past 2 weeks, and I've still got a shit ton more to watch. Princess and the Popstar. Yeah, watched this one the other night. It wasn't very good. It was basically just a modern, glamified version of Princess and the Pauper, but worse and lazier. Like, so lazy that they even, like, reuse one of the songs from the actual Princess and the Pauper movie to be a princess, but with, like, it feels like Princess and the Pauper as performed by Victorious. And yeah, it was just not that interesting, not that funny. The animation was fine, the songs were decent, but it was bad. 2 out of 5. And then Barbie and the Pink Shoes, which seems to be is just Barbie is at a ballet studio. She's getting lectured by her dance instructor to stop changing the choreography and to stop seeking attention. And then in response, she gets a new pair of shoes that are magic somehow that basically transport her into a bunch of different ballets. So we see a little bit of Swan Lake, we see like the Snow Queen, and everyone is playing someone, like so everyone in the real world is playing someone from this ballet. And it just felt like another Rapunzel or Nutcracker or Swan Lake. It was just another Barbie self-insert ballet movie, but just with a bunch of different ballets. Music was nice, dancing was nice, and 2.5 out of 5. I need to get these over with.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Alright, so we just finished Mariposa and the Fairy Princess, and I take back everything I said about the first one. That one sucked.
That one absolutely sucked.
It was so boring. Like, literally nothing happens.
It was like a spit in the face to the first movie.
The animation was better. That's the only thing that I will give it.
That's the only good thing I can give it. The animation was beautiful, but like okay, so the plot of this one, I don't even remember why they decided they needed to make peace.
Is some like 2 warring fairy kingdoms are like hating each other for some reason, and the one of the butterfly queen sends Mariposa off to this other kingdom to sort of be the peacemaker and everything like that, but she keeps messing stuff up. But she doesn't even really keep messing things up. It's just like
it's
the
her
little
pet.
the little puffball that's meant to be Bibble, which every time that thing came on screen, I felt like the Harry Potter meme. How dare you stand where he once stood? But like the pets are like arguing and like bickering and shit, and then she's trying to like calm everything down, and then the king is like constantly misunderstanding every little thing that she does, and
It's
is
all your
like,
fault, Jafar.
literally, it's just really boring. The villain seems like she just comes right out of nowhere. Like, at least the villains in some of the other Barbie movies have been like prominent throughout, so that they build themselves up as like an actual threat. Whereas here, like, okay, we get like a couple little like teases here and there, and like a clip detailing her backstory, and then she just shows up for the climax. But that's it. Like, as far as I know, like, she just kind of comes out of nowhere.
Right.
Also, I'm not sure, like, they do have the little preamble at the beginning detailing the plot of the last movie, so I'm guessing the last movie happened, but whoever was making this movie just neglected to hire the actress from the last movie to play Mariposa. Either that, or she just blatantly wasn't available, because Kelly Sheridan is back voicing her at this time.
Well, she's a good actress, but
Yeah.
like,
But I mean,
know.
it's like, keep some consistency at the very least.
Like, at this point, Mariposa doesn't even feel like Mariposa anymore.
She just feels like Barbie.
It feels exactly like Barbie, and she's so clumsy and
Yeah.
like bold, and like, you know, not to say that like Mariposa didn't like gain some confidence from the last movie, but she was so humble and like,
And she wasn't,
polite.
and she also wasn't this like clumsy and all over the place in the last one either.
Like, it feels like she's so much more clumsy and loud, and like she's just Barbified.
Yeah, it seems like they just need an excuse to like devolve her as a character just so they can have her learn a lesson at the end.
Yeah. And she was smart in the first one too. She was so intelligent.
Yeah,
so
like
how is she going into this and like not standing up for herself and like giving like smart responses? Like
for as much as they brag about like how much of a bookworm she is and how intelligent she is, like she is really dumbed down in this movie. The nicest I can give it is like a 2.5, but it's probably closer to a 2. In fact, yeah, it is a 2. Fuck this movie. What would you give it?
I'll do you one better. I'm giving it a 1.5.
Really?
I'm just mad that you can come out of Mariposa and then feed me this. Like, I was hoping for a good sequel.
Yeah.
Every second of this movie, I was just waiting for it to end.
Honestly, same. But it's over, and on to the next one.
Barbie, let's go party.
Barbie and her sisters in a ponytail. It's about Barbie and her sisters, and they ride ponies. Yeah, that's about it. 2.5.
Barbie, let's go party.
Alright, next up, Pearl Princess. Although honestly, they should have just called this Mermaidia 2, because that's exactly what this is. It's the 4th mermaid-themed movie that we've seen. And it's essentially just Mermaidia crossed with like a little bit of Rapunzel and a little bit of 12 Dancing Princesses. Princess mermaid who's kept away from her family for several years and then goes on an adventure to discover herself. It's another plot to poison the king so that they can take over, and it's another like, you know, strict stepmother who I guess in this case is actually misunderstood instead of evil. It's just all these things that have been overused time and time again in these fucking movies. Only in this one, for some reason, they decided to make the mermaid, like, really, really dumb. And I guess kind of a little OCD, because, like, half the time she forgets what she's even, like, going on this adventure for. Like, when they have a detour halfway through to make her a fashion designer, and she goes on all these little detours, like, during her mission, like, it seems like she is just the most clueless, like, OCD, like, mermaid in this kingdom. But yeah, other than that, it was just really generic and really boring. I was multitasking while watching it, so I mean, from what I saw, the animation looked pretty, but again, it just looked like every other underwater world that we've seen in these mermaid movies before. So I gave this one a 2 out of 5. This one wasn't very good.
Barbie, let's go party.
Barbie and the Secret Door is another movie that I watched, and it's not good. I'm running out of things to say because they're running out of ideas. Like this is just another hodgepodge of random ideas from the other Barbie movies that were done better in those other Barbie movies. It's a girl who's a princess, but she doesn't want to be a princess, and she's shy and doesn't know how to address her people. And she finds a door that leads to this magical kingdom full of just like, it's just, again, like I said, a hodgepodge of like magical kingdoms and fairy tale lands from the other movie, where this bratty kid princess who looks like a Planet Sheen character is trying to steal everyone's magic, and so Barbie's self-insert princess character has to figure out how to stop her and restore the magic. And if you want a drinking game that will leave you dead before the movie is over, take a shot every time they say the word magic in this movie. I guarantee you will not make it past like the 20 or 30 minute mark. It's really good. I would highly recommend it. Yeah, even the world and the visuals weren't that impressive in this one. It's just, everything is just blended together. I feel like I've seen so many of these goddamn movies at once that they're all just starting to blur together in my head. I feel like even like now around me, I'm just starting to see pink everywhere. Yeah, 2.5 out of 5.
Barbie, let's go party.
Barbie in Princess Power, and for once they have not done a movie based on fairies or mermaids, and give them some credit. I can at least give them that. They're trying something new for a change. It still is very princess heavy, but I mean that's par for the course. But in this one, Barbie gets kissed by a radioactive butterfly. I'm not even joking, that's what happens. And she gets superpowers, and her parents are like, oh, you can't be out doing stuff by yourself because it's too dangerous. And she's like, but I want to help people and save the day. And meanwhile, there's a villain who's trying to recreate superpowers and take over the kingdom or something. It was cute. It was fun. It was funny. I've kind of given up like expecting greatness from these movies now, but I am at least glad that they're trying new things instead of just doing the same 3 stories over and over again. I mean, even this borrowed from a few of the other ones, but it was cool. It was fun. The superhero angle was a nice touch. I really liked the part at the end where Samuel L. Jackson came to the castle and recruited Super Sparkle to be a part of the Avenger Initiative. But yeah, it was fun. Nothing spectacular, but I'd give it a 3 out of 5.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Just when I thought we were starting to get back on track, Barbie Rockin' Royals comes to remind me, oh right, these are still shit. We might as well just call this Princess and the Popstar Part 2, because that's essentially what it is. It's another princess and another pop star trading places, and it's a mix of that and that SpongeBob episode where they go to camp, and instead of going to camp, they go to like a prison camp. It's kind of like that. Even the fact that they both start out like with them getting on the wrong boat. And yeah, it's just all the same like cliches and stuff that you're used to from these movies. It's the same sort of beat by beat premise as like Princess and the Popstar. The music sucks, the acting sucks, everything about it it's just dull and boring and nauseating, and I hated it. And this one almost broke me. This one is not as bad as Diaries. I don't think anything will be as bad as Diaries, but fuck me, this came close. This is a 1.5. Please don't watch this.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Good morning. So, against my better judgment, I kept the Barbie marathon going last night until about like 2 in the morning. The good news is I was able to knock out 3 movies, and the other good news is we're on the home stretch. I've only got about like I think 8 more movies left to watch for this video. So I'm gonna real quickly talk about the movies that I watched last night. I'm willing to make some breakfast, and then I'm gonna power through the rest of these. First things first, Barbie and her sisters in the puppy adventure, although it wasn't really a puppy adventure, it was a regular adventure where they brought puppies along with them. Is another one that sets Barbie in the real world with her sisters. They go to her like childhood town, and they find this treasure map, and they go looking for the treasure, and these like evil carnival barkers are like trying to get it first. This one was fine. It was cute. It was kind of boring and generic. But I mean, it wasn't horrendous. It wasn't like Rockin' Royals or Diaries. It was fun. The animation looked nice. The puppies were cute, but that's kind of all they were meant to be. And yeah, it was a fine movie, but it's nothing that's going to like stick with me long after this marathon is over. So I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5. Next up, Barbie Spy Squad, and once again, bonus points right off the bat for just doing something that does not have to do with fairies, mermaids, or princesses. I appreciate them trying to do something new. This one, it's Barbie and her friends get recruited to this like Charlie's Angels / Mission Impossible type of secret agency where they have to go undercover to find this jewel thief so that they can stop them putting together this weapon to destroy the world. It was cute, it was fun, it had some like decent action, but again, it's one of those that's like pretty forgettable and one that I'm not going to revisit or remember after this marathon is over, so I'd probably give it a 3 out of 5. And then next up after that is Barbie Starlight Adventure, which is actually the only one of these movies that I had like prior knowledge of before doing this video, because Brad Jones did a midnight screenings of that I watched, and with that video in my head, I went into this movie with like kind of low expectations, but to my surprise, like I actually came out of it like kind of enjoying it. Like I would even go as far as to say this is like the first legitimately good one of these movies that I've watched since like Three Musketeers. Obviously like it's not perfect, it's not amazing, but like I thought it was fun. The animation looked nice. The visuals were really cool. It's set in like a sci-fi like outer space sort of setting, and it takes a lot of inspiration from a lot of different sci-fi franchises before it, like Star Wars and Star Trek and Avatar and things like that. But it works. I think it meshes well together. I think the story is engaging. The characters were all fun, and none of them were annoying or pissing me off. The voice, I forgot to bring this up in Spy Squad, but they have a new voice actress for Barbie, she didn't really sound like, I didn't really buy her as Barbie in Spy Squad, but she did a lot better in this one. Maybe it's just, having that extra movie under her belt to like sort of refine the voice, but she was really good in this. And also, there's no stupid twist villain at the end. Like the past few Barbie movies have had that like third act villain trope where like, oh, it's someone who is masquerading as a good guy but is actually secretly evil and wants to take over the world or something. No, this movie doesn't have that. It's got like clear defined goals where they have to, stop the stars from going out, because otherwise that means extinction for their planet. And yeah, there's no villain trying to stop them. There's no outside force trying to stop them. I mean, the closest thing to like a villain you could probably point to would be like the king, but he's not really evil. He's more just like strict, and it kind of like, oh, this has to be done a certain way, and I want to be given the credit for saving the galaxy. And then when he inevitably messes up and Barbie has to save everyone, he's like, oh, well, maybe there's other ways that can be done, and shit like that. So yeah, I feel like after like 30 plus movies of the same freaking thing, that was legitimately kind of refreshing to see. So yeah, I really dug this movie. It's not as good as something like Princess and the Pauper or the first Fairytopia, but it's definitely one of the better Barbie movies that I've seen. So yeah, I'd probably give this a 3.5 out of 5.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Barbie and her sisters in the puppy chase is very boring and uneventful. It's essentially a ponytail mixed with The Great Puppy Adventure, except it's on an island, and Barbie, being a terrible vacation planner, ends up getting the sisters into trouble, and the dogs go missing, and they have to get to Chelsea's dance competition in time, and they run into a bunch of different shenanigans and things like that. It was pretty uneventful, not terrible, but just nothing of substance really happened, so I'd probably just give it a 2.5.
Come on, on, Barbie, let's go party.
Barbie Video Game Hero is another very boring, very forgettable movie. Again, new concept with Barbie being sucked into a video game world that is infected by a virus, and she has to go through all these different levels to beat it. I did appreciate some of the like unique video game level designs. I was admittedly very nervous at the beginning because the first level that they go into, it's done in sort of that like scattered frame rate type of thing to make it look like an old computer game, and I was like, please, for the love of God, don't let the whole movie be like this. Thankfully it wasn't, and they go into other levels too that are a lot more pleasing on the eyes. Overall, it was just really boring. It was not that memorable. I was just kind of waiting for it to be over. Yeah, I didn't really get into this one. 2 out of 5.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
2 more movies in the can, Dolphin Magic and Princess Adventure. At this point with these titles, it seems like they're pulling random words out of a hat and just meshing them together. Both of them I feel about the same towards. I gave both of them the same ranking, 2.5 out of 5. Dolphin Magic it's another Barbie and her sister's vacation movie. It's another mermaid movie. It's kind of got the plot of Avatar: Way of Water, in which she's trying to save a dolphin from like an evil poaching center or some shit. And she meets a mermaid and then become friends and blah blah blah, and it's just kind of dull and boring. Same thing goes with Princess Adventure. It's literally just another Princess and the Pauper story, except the princess is like, oh, she wants to express herself and not be spoken for and blah blah blah, and she wants to express her opinions, and so she asks Barbie to take her place because they're going on a field trip, and Barbie gets to be a princess, and the actual princess gets to be herself and have thoughts and opinions, and then there's another guy trying to take over the throne and blah blah blah. It was just more of the same shit. It's just in one ear, out the other. Like I said, 2.5 out of 5 for both of them.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
I feel like I've watched the same fucking movie 4 times now. Barbie and Chelsea, The Lost Birthday. It's another island movie. It's another Barbie and sister vacation movie. And it's literally the exact same movie. It feels just as long and boring and drawn out. Thankfully it was a lot shorter than some of the other ones, but it's just left me with nothing to talk about. I feel like I've watched the same thing 4 separate times, and there's still 3 more movies left to go, but whatever. 2.5, we're almost done.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Big City, Big Dreams is decent. It's a lot better than some of the other ones I've had to watch today. It's the introduction of Barbie Brooklyn. It takes Barbie Malibu to New York to go to this academy so that they can make it big on Broadway. And it is the most homoerotic Barbie movie since Fairy Secret. Literally all the reviews on Letterboxd were talking about how Brooklyn and Barbie were obviously meant to be gay, but the suits at Mattel, I don't know, didn't want to let that happen. But it's just funny to point out. It was fun, it was fine, it was cute, the songs were decent. It was very fast-paced, and it was both fast-paced and dragged in certain parts, so make that for what you will, but I don't know, like I said, at least it didn't have to do with Barbie and her sisters going on vacation again. I'll take it. I gave it like a 3 out of 5.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Mermaid Power. It continues right after the last one. It's like the 100th mermaid-related one of these movies that they've made. You know, for all the shit that people gave on Twitter for Little Mermaid 2023, like, they didn't seem to mind this, or maybe they did and I just didn't care, but it's exactly what it sounds like. It's every single mermaid-related Barbie movie that they've ever made, crossed with a little bit of Avatar: The Last Airbender. it was just, again, in one ear, out the other. The songs were very forgettable. Yeah, 2.5 out of 5.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
So this is a bit of a unique one because I'm not really sure how to go about reviewing it, just because of the nature of it. We just did Barbie's Epic Road Trip. This is the interactive, like, choose your own adventure thing on Netflix. And as the title suggests, it gives you multiple different options, and it like pings your controller and when you need to make a choice, and the different choices give you different outcomes and everything like that. And it's just all centered around like Barbie, Brooklyn, Ken, and Skipper going on a road trip to like promote Skipper's app to get rid of or some dogs.
Get rid of.
Well, yeah, that's what they're doing. They're getting rid of dogs that need to be adopted. Ken wants to get to first base with Barbie, and Brooklyn wants to progress their music career. And yeah, there's a bunch of different options that you can take to take you down different paths. I don't know. It was cute. It was funny. What was your impression of it with the choices that we made?
I thought it was definitely unique, and I feel like having the interactive experience definitely lets you have more control on what exactly you'd like to see out of the characters.
Yeah.
Which I know is a stupid take, but like, when you've been watching several Barbie movies straight where you have them singing nonstop, you instinctively see that they can immediately go to the audition, and you're like, no, we're going on the road trip. We're going for as least singing as possible. No more singing.
And also, it was just really, really fun to completely friend zone Ken every chance you get, or Ken zone, as I said it. 'Cause
He's just Ken.
He's just Ken. Yeah, and I am very curious, like, I'm not gonna do this again, but I am probably on my off time, I'm gonna like look up some of the other endings that we could have gotten, because it's like, it doesn't really have a single like definitive ending. It's just like,
but it does keep finding excuses to string you on. Like at the end, it's like, I wonder what would have happened.
Yeah, exactly.
If we went on the Ferris wheel at the fair instead of going with Ken.
Or maybe we could have done some completely different options all the way through, and it like gives you the option to do one thing or start the whole thing over again. So it's kind of like catches you in a loop and just hopes that you'll be interested enough to like keep going to find every single ending. So,
and to its credit, at least one of us was.
Yeah, well, I mean, for a time, and eventually I just kind of got like, okay, can we just wrap this up, please? But yeah, I mean, like I said, it's kind of hard to rank this because like, it's a novelty more so than it is a narrative. But I mean, the narrative works in service of the novelty. I'd probably give it either a 3 or maybe a 3.5 just because it was fun. I'll give it this. It was a lot more fun than some of the other non-interactive Barbie movies.
Like, I think if it was a movie on its own, it would be kind of boring. Like, I think I would give it like a 3, like a fine, but because of the interactive aspect of it and just, you know, the fun that you can make out of it brings it to like a 3.5 for me.
Yeah, I think that'd be my final ranking, 3.5. So I wonder what would have happened if we had given this movie a different ranking, or if we had watched a completely different movie altogether.
Or if we started the Barbie movie journey from the very beginning.
No.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Thank the Lord, this is the last one. Skipper and the Big Babysitting Adventure, although it's really more of a big summer job adventure that just happens to have stuff to do with babysitting. I mean, this is mostly just a cutesy shenanigans type of movie. I mean, it's Skipper who starts a babysitting business, but then things go wrong, and she's looking for summer jobs, and she gets into a petty argument with some random lady who's also Barbie's rival, and she gets a job at an amusement park, and
you know, like I said, it's just a shenanigans movie. It's just something to put on to entertain your little kids. Ironically, it's something that you put on to babysit your kids for you. It's nothing super deep or meaningful or entertaining, but it's there, it exists, and yeah, I'd give it a 2.5 out of 5.
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
Alright, it's been 2 long, excruciating weeks, and I have finally finished all 42 Barbie movies. What are some of my big takeaways? Well, for one, as exhausting as this marathon was, it surprisingly wasn't as painful as I was expecting. While a lot of the movies were as bad as I was expecting, a lot of them were actually pretty good. I know it feels like I'm grading on a curve because I'm not the target audience, but there are a few of these movies that I would unironically watch again. It was interesting going back and watching a series of movies that defined a generation and meant so much to its target audience. And it was equally interesting seeing how they evolve with time, between the improvements in the animation to the different themes and stories, etc. While I can't see myself doing this marathon again, I'm at least glad that I did it. I was able to find some value in a series of movies that I previously wrote off as a dumb distraction for girls. Would I recommend you binge through all of them yourself? Lord no. But I would recommend checking out a few of them. My top 3 would probably be Princess and the Pauper, Fairytopia, and Three Musketeers, with Starlight Adventure getting a very high honorable mention. My top 3 worst would be Princess Charm School, Rockin' Royals, and then Diaries at the very bottom. And then in terms of how these movies will connect to the live-action Barbie movie, well, I don't imagine they will much other than a few references. From the trailers, it's looking like they're detailing some of the different eras from the Barbie franchise, so maybe we'll see something similar to Fashion Fairytale, where Barbie is signing a bunch of movie deals. That's all just speculation. Regardless, I'm excited to see the new movie, and I'm excited to see how it cements itself among these other movies in Barbie history. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate if you stuck around for the whole thing. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna go shave and cut my hair and, I don't know, watch Cannibal Holocaust or something to just rinse out all the pink from my eyes. Let me know in the comments if you're looking forward to the Barbie movie. Did you grow up with any of these movies that I talked about? Which ones are some of your favorites? Which ones are some of your least favorites? Let me know all that stuff down below. Until next time, be sure to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell so you can stay up to date on when I'm posting. Follow me on all my social media, subscribe to my main channel. Everything you need to know will be in the description. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.
Just like you, I think that's true. You're just like me, yes I can see. We take responsibility.